say thank you so much to Alejandra Perez. She is my WIA mentor from just a few months ago. I got into one of the mentorship circles at WIA, and I don't know if all of you have taken part of it at some point or want to be part of it, but it's something I think you should definitely get into, because she helped me out so much with my own films that I was working on, character design, story, etc. And that's why when I thought of, oh, we should have another woman panelist like at VLA, I thought she was like the natural next extension of that, because she is coming to us from Mexico and doing so much. And just to tell you all a little about VLA, I'll put our social links down in the chat. We were just founded in May 2024, and since then we've been doing events both in New York and Los Angeles pretty consistently now, along with Discord events like figure drawing sessions, study nights, all that stuff going on. And what else? Oh yeah, our virtual panels like today. And so we've been doing all of that stuff, and we can't wait for the new year. If you want to join our Discord server, I'll put the link down there as well. So now I'll hand it over. Oh, sorry. My name is Adela Hurtado, and I'm part of the leadership team at Viva La Animación. Oops, admitting people. At Viva La Animación. And yeah, we basically trying to help Latin storytellers in animation and doing our best doing so. And I'm in Paris studying at Gobelin right now. Lawyer turning into animator, storyteller person. But yeah, thank you so much, Alejandra. And now I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Adela. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for inviting me. Viva la Animación. I just love the title of that. And I think it is really cool that the Latino community in animation is getting together and getting like such a good, getting to know everybody. I'm there in the Discord. I see a lot of the notifications, but from time to time, I'm like, cannot make it to the drawing sessions or anything. I'll show you why in a second. But nice to meet you all, to be here. I can share screen, right? Let me see. So that I begin doing this stuff. Let's see. Perfect. Okay. Hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So I do my presentations in my beloved Storyboard Pro because I just gotten so used to it. And I don't know, it's a cool way for me to put drawings and to put images and to explain myself. So my name, as Adela mentioned, is Alejandra Perez Gonzalez. You can call me Ale. For short. And yeah, this talk is going to be about how I went from story artist to directing a feature film. And I'm gonna start by saying that I remember being very small, watching Fantasia, the Disney one with the leaves are falling, and my neighbor, my 15-year-old neighbor, was like, they draw leaf by leaf. Are you sure that is what you want to do? You want to be an animator? And I remember, I guess she was thinking, hey, this is little kid. She doesn't know what she's saying. She just likes cartoons. But no, I was, see, a huevo, this is what I want to do. I don't care if it takes leaf by leaf, it's gonna be painful. I like drawing. This is what I do. So I'm gonna start by the beginning, which was, I grew up, was born, everything from Mexico. And in Mexico, when you graduate high school, you go to college, but over here, we don't have animation, especially when I graduated college. So the option was going to, first, I went to Vancouver Film School in 2003. And over here, it is the place where I started learning traditional animation. I was super happy because it was hand-drawn. These are some of my examples, which you can see such a really shitty quality, but it was a year of of making progress, of learning animation, the 12 principles, the storytelling, whatnot, and it eventually made this short film called Fantasia Taurina. And what I discovered that I already knew is that I just love drawing movement, drawings that move. That's what I wanted to do, and that's what I set it out to do. But I couldn't find a job. This was in 2003. By 2004, I was, yay, I'm done. Let's try to find a job. No job. And if you remember back in 1996, when Toy Story came out, everything changed because everybody was doing CGI, right? And I was like, I hate you, Toy Story. But honestly, no, because the story, the way Pixar started telling the story and giving the emphasis on the storytelling, that was the importance of it. And I loved it. And so it came like a little red flag, like, maybe it's not just traditional animation. Maybe I'm not going to be an animator. Maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something about storytelling that I'm not really seeing. So I decided many years later that I should learn something new, and that would be the 3D, no? And so, but for this, many years had to happen. I haven't been to college. I didn't have a career per se. So it was in 2009 that I went to Ringling College of Art and Design in Florida. And yeah, I learned 3D. These are some of my examples of my work in 3D that they teach me the walk cycle, they teach me modeling, they teach all this stuff, no? And I hated it. I hate the 3D. I mean, I think it's cool. I like it when other people's do when other people do it, but I just the way I animate, it was just not the same as free as I was when I was drawing. So it was very frustrating. I did the exercises, I did sort of okay, but not really special. And so again, they in this college, it was a 4-year uh, graduating program, right? So I had to go again to the basics, again, the 2D exercises. And I was so happy with the 2D exercises. When I was in 3D, I was miserable. When I was in my 2D exercises, I loved it. And so these are some of the examples that I was really free, really happy. The jumping, the walking, all the things they teach you in animation. And so I learned a lot from all of these exercises, plus obviously also all the thing about art history stuff and many, many different classes. And but then I started seeing the possibility of becoming a storyboard artist because, yeah, what jobs are there? And okay, I just have to mention that when I got to Ringling, it's when I started really learning Photoshop, learning any program that was digitally made. So these were like my first animatic drawings, my first storyboards, my first stories. It was a bunch of exercises. Food thief, going from A to B. The school has a program and they make you follow that and they make you do different animatics with different stories. And it's a really good practice, to figure out like what you want to say. I was mostly a lot of pantomime drawing, like really gesture drawing and whatnot, because I couldn't do. I, is someone drawing in the screen? That's kind of cool. I don't know what's going on, but something blue is there.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It's okay. No matter. Um, but anyway, so yeah, story artist. So I was starting to think, yeah, I should do this. But first things first. In Ringling, you also need to graduate with a thesis, with a short film. And so, what is that going to be? You're going to have to model the characters, rig them, all the stuff that you hate. So, you have to figure out what do you want to do? And I thought, okay, I want to incorporate some 2D elements into my thesis film. And so, the idea came the Russian dolls. And I remember doing this drawing first, and my idea was going more towards maybe I was thinking a lot of my grandmother while she had passed away many years ago, but I was like, oh, I would like to make something like to remember her or something. So maybe it's about the grandmother Matryoshka, it's the name of the dolls, no? And how she passes on her knowledge or something with each little doll. So my idea was going towards that. And I didn't tell anybody because Ringling faculty was very, very not good on letting the students use 2D and 3D at the same time because it can be a very hard thing to do and they want their students to succeed, right? So but I was saving that card for the last because I was thinking, why don't I animate the textures of the face? And then look, it's a very simple poly character. Maybe she won't have arms. Maybe it's just jumping up and down. And I can do that. Squash and stretch, bouncing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was all like, now I know my characters, but what's the story gonna be? So it was a whole thing figuring out the story. I have to say that it has always been the hardest thing for me because for me drawing comes it comes very easily. Animating in 2D also. But the story and figuring out that it works and it's not just funny but stupid, that it tells you something, that it moves you, that it incorporates all the elements, that's super hard for me. And so, anyway, the idea was pitched that it would be some Russian dolls. And eventually the idea changed. We always had faculty crits. And in these faculty crits and talking with friends and whatnot, the story changed. Instead of being a matryoshka grandmother, it would just be a matryoshka that inside of her would be another dolls that are emotions. This was way before Inside Out. I see, no, I invented. Now, obviously not, but well, I like to say that because it's like, many years ago, I was thinking about this. Yeah, of course, repressed emotions, and they come out in little dolls. I just love that concept. Um, when we came up with that, and I said we because I cannot remember, somebody talking gave me sort of that idea, and so it was gonna be curiosity, then happiness, and finally love. And the secondary character that I wasn't planning on was going to be a top. So you have these two characters, and this is some of the, again, developing the character of the main matryoshka. What was she going to look like? Her facial expression, the squash and stretch, blah, blah, blah. Will she have hands? Not, etc. No? And so, and then uh, this what I'm showing you are things that we used to show in our faculty crits, just so that they could see the development of the idea. It was basically around 4 months of developing the story, developing the character, all of this that you're seeing, like trial and error. And so you put some inspiration on the side. Like I had the cloudy with a chance of meatballs because I still made them think, hey, faculty, it's okay. I'm gonna do blend shapes. The faces are gonna be carved. So this is kind of what I'm going for. It's kind of flat, kind of cartoony, but Sam from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is what I'm going for. They're like, oh, okay, sure. Let's keep going. Uh, and for the top, this character that just appeared out of nowhere was gonna be like the love interest of the matryoshka. He just appeared to on its own, the shape of a top, like kind of like this rombo, and with the hat of the Russians and whatnot. And so I don't know. He just appeared one day in my head, and here he is. And both characters were gonna be made of wood. They make you, okay, plan ahead, visuals. It's made of wood. What color? What texture? Blah 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 blah. The personality, all of this in some images, and that's what they want you to present in order for them to say, yes, keep going, you pass, you keep going for next year. And this would be the emotions. So the curiosity was orange only because I like the way the colors match, because Yellow happiness, that I had it forever in my mind. Love pink because maybe a cliche, right? But yeah, but I thought it looks cute. Pink, yellow, orange. I don't know. I like that combination. So I was like, there you go. We have it. And so, and there was this idea that maybe emotional color change in the main matryoshka, but that was later on. You see, nah, it doesn't work. It's best if only the little dolls pop out of her every time she feels happiness, every time she feels love, every time whatever she feels, right? Those are the only emotions that I was able to get into a, what was it? 1 minute short film. So yeah, imagine if there are more emotions than many, many dolls, but never mind. So, size comparison, you have, do your characters look well together? Yeah, they're okay. They're drawn by, yeah. And then some visual aid of how they would work in 3D. Again, the Toy Story reference of this little egg that comes on the first act, I think, when all the toys appear, and how pop, 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 they all come out, right? Figuring out one color beat, figuring out the turnaround so that you can get to model it in 3D, right? In the upper case over here, the rough drawing, and also the environment that they're gonna be living in, moving around. This story is gonna take place. Frozen lake so that the top can, move, because obviously in snow, I don't know how he gets home. I don't know where he lives, but he moves on the ice and he's just very happy ice skating, and he's trying to invite her to join him ice skate because it's a lot of fun. That's it, right? No, don't complicate myself. That's the main thing. Um, and so the only thing that I'm showing you this because while doing this, I had to think of all of this stuff that back in BFS I didn't. In BFS it was pretty much I don't know, like the way I felt it worked, Over here they actually made me, whoa, plan this ahead. The story has to work because, so it was just a very, very much more rich study of the whole thing that I wanted to create. So it was a really learning experience. Then we have to do our first turnaround so that the faculty gets to see, oh, okay, this girl does know what she's doing. So as you can see, I did model the face. It is all in 3D. But then if I had to do this, I was gonna do the blend shapes. Ugh. And and then I was like, look, faculty, this also looks good. It's just in case we can use it. And the only thing that pops is the little nose. That's the only 3D part in her face. But then everything else is gonna be animated traditionally. Like, whoa, I don't know if you can pull that uh, do it. I forget the expression in English, but whatever. And so, yeah, yeah. And then the top, same case. Turn around, you model it. It looks like it's not the final colors, obviously, but look, his face is also modeled. Yeah. But are they gonna look well together if she has the painted face and he doesn't? Why if I paint his eyes? And then his eyes are gonna be what gives him life, really. So I still had to prove that I could do it, but I'm just showing you all the process that went through, and this was very important because later on in later jobs that I had, all of this process, I was like, hey, I know what they're doing that. I know why. And I have a suggestion. Oh, shut up. This is not your area. You're right, but I know how to do it, so you can defend yourself in case someone's like, you don't know. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Shut up. Ah. And so, first turn around to figure out the size comparison, blah, blah, blah. Ah, look, 3D, dead. I just can't, it's for me, it's it's very hard. So eventually I'm like, no, no, smile. Yes, I like this better. I think it has more life to it. And then the test came. Okay, How do they look actually when you animate them? Do they work? The blend test. I was like, yes, I don't want to do blend shapes. Here they are. I'm just going to draw their faces and they are going to move like this. And this is what it's going to look like. And the faculty was like, go. Finally, no one doubted. And they said, do it. And then the final result, I am just showing you side to side the part that I want to dedicate my life into, which is the storyboarding and animatic, and the part that I like the way it ended up looking. But again, I know that if there was an animator, a friend of mine who would animate this, it would have come more alive because of the movement of the body, because the face, it was cute. I did it, but the movement, something was missing. But anyway, just to show you like side to side how it worked, and especially like a very important key aspect that came across as I was developing this story. By talking to a teacher, he said, you know what's important about your story? That in the end, love wins. In the sense that, okay, first, the top appears, curiosity pops out. She tries to hide curiosity. Then he does something that makes her happy, happiness comes out. And then she comes in and she hides curiosity and happiness. But by the end of it, something happens that the final emotion, love, just can't be contained. So that is like the whole thing of the project, really. What made it to me be cute, fun doing even, and worth doing even more than just graduating was that it had something else that I wanted to say. Love wins, love pops in the end, and it finally gives the last push, like that part. And then happy ending, yay, love. So yeah, I don't know, corny, right? But I don't know, it felt really cute. It worked for me. And so in the end, what matters is that I graduated. It was 4 years, actually kind of 5, interrupted because my mom got sick. She had cancer, so she had mastectomy, and I had to interrupt 1 year. So I graduated with another class, with the class that was under our first class, whatever. I graduated in the end. It got made. And so now, yes, I want to be a storyboard artist. Let's find a job. I sent everywhere. And what happens with international students is that we get an OPT, a permit that you get 3 months, where you have to search for a job that has to be from what you studied. I didn't get the job. I didn't get any job, and my mom had to have another surgery. So, what the hell? In 2 months, I was like, I'm not finding anything. I have to go back. And I go back to Mexico and I live my life. But it doesn't take too long before I actually do find a job in animation, which up till that point, I have to say that I didn't really know that in my own country they were doing things, that they were doing actual films, actual stuff. Granted, it's still not very well known, and the quality is not as great as it would be a US film. As I was telling Adela and Chasel before all of you guys got in Mexico, the way it works is that we need funding from the government in order to the films to be created. But anyway, I get many jobs in, I'm gonna mainly talk about Anima Studios and Huevo Cartoon Studios because this is the place where I met the most artists, the most friends, talented people that got me like really inspired and really thinking, I didn't know you guys did such cool stuff. Where were you? What the hell? So, and and you see all the art of I don't know, Toy Story, Pinocho, Enchanted, Enchanted, what movie is that? Well, Kung Fu Panda, whatever. You see all the art of. But in Mexico, we don't get art book of Here Comes the Grump, which was my first real industry job in Mexico. I don't know, funding, really, and organization. Now we it's a problem over here. But again, what I want to point out about Ahí viene Cascarrabias or Here Comes the Grump is the fact that it is a comedy. It is quite silly. It's CGI, and it was made in English, which was really interesting. Because hey, I'm in Mexico. What? Why are we making films in English? I mean, it's okay. I don't mind, but why? And I don't know. It turns out it was because of a deal of distribution that the studio made, and it was gonna be animated not in Mexico but in India. So all the pre-production is made in Mexico and then sent overseas, and the production is made over there. So it was very interesting to learn this. And the cool part was in this first job, small production, sort of, you get to do many, many things. I suppose if you work at one big studio in the US that you're a story artist, that's it. Sometimes, no, that's what I hear. But over here, I was able to be part of the group that was the character designers, the story artists, and the animation supervisors. So in a way, I saw this film like all through and through. And so it was a really cool experience. It was really enriching, really learning. And from this point on, they were like, what do you want to do from all the stuff you did? Storyboard. Let me do storyboard. That's all I want to do. And then I just want to show you very quickly. Let me see, how do I desktop? Yeah, let's share the desktop. And let's share a bit of Ahí viene Cascarrabias, just quickly, a little of the storyboard that I did. And I want to let you know something about the way they did storyboards in Anima and Huevo Cartoon, but mostly in Anima. So this was made in Flash back then. This was 2016. As you can see, I make a lot of poses. I let my traditional animator inside of me be free, be happy, because the thumbnail process had already been made by the storyboard supervisor and the director. Storyboard, in reality, what it should be is a process of developing the story, right? Not making these clean drawings in model that maybe you have to trash away. Storyboard is trash, redo, trash, redo. Oh, this works, we keep, but then do another thing. Oh, do it 20 times. And that's storyboard. It's the way it is. But in this case, and for this and many films in Anima, because of the low budget, you have to have the characters on model, key poses from storyboard, so that the artists in India can just copy. They are just gonna do the key poses in the 3D model as close as they can with what you gave them with the storyboard. So it's a bit, over here, they try to step over processes. And that is why sometimes the films that we make over here are not that good. Because again, if you pay attention to the story, then it doesn't matter if it doesn't look beautiful. If the story works, people are gonna like it, right? At least that's what I was taught. But I don't know what happens in the industry over here, that for selling purposes, it just has to look beautiful and they don't care. The story gets lost in the way. Many people start saying, oh, it needs to be funnier. Yeah, dude, but no, but the main story was about the princess trying to learn something new about herself. No, make it funny. I don't care about that. So I don't know. It's my personal opinion, but from what I've seen, I think that's kind of the main problem that I see in our productions over here. But anyway, then I did Charro Negro. This was the second job I had. And I want to point Charro Negro in particular because it was a very different type of film. For instance, it was made cutout animation. It was a mystery kid horror. Still is comedy and it's pretty kid, like super little small kids. Uh, um, and because very simple characters and whatnot. But okay, it was made in Spanish and it was a historia mexicana. Una historia Mexican story based completely because this is a saga, a brand that Anima Studios has, Las Leyendas. That if you look into it, they've made La Leyenda del Chupacabras, La Leyenda de la Llorona, La Leyenda of all these things that we have over here. They exploited that way with our main character, Leo San Juan, who sees ghosts and kind of solves mysteries, kind of like Scooby-Doo, but with a Mexican kid in the, I don't know, pre-revolutionary era, I think it is, something like that. And it's pretty cute. It's pretty fun, and honestly, I think it has something really, really cool to it. Of course, they keep doing films about these guys. They keep adding more and more stuff about it. And again, they tell me do storyboard. I do storyboard, but our storyboard is also, do the characters in dynamic poses that the animators in this time, where are they? In Indonesia. No, see, in Indonesia. I forget. Sorry. They are going to animate it. So they are going to follow your key poses. So there you go. Some of it is made by another storyboard artist. And on top of it, I drew the characters on model, gave them the expression, the drama, the what they're saying, all that sweet stuff that honestly I really enjoy doing in my drawings. So I'm fine with it. But yeah, we are still missing what's important of the story. It kind of gets told, but again, like when you're adding too much sugar on the cake, I don't know, maybe not everybody likes all that sugar, right? So yeah, but this is an example of a very rough, clean mixture of a storyboard in that particular film. And so anyway, later on, I got to work all of this animatic storyboard. I got to work in Huevo Cartoon. And the importance that I think of this studio is the fact that back in 2015, they were the first to make a CGI feature completely in Mexico. So is that the artists that work on that film at that time, from zero, learned CGI. And they became so good that many of them are now working in big US productions or in Canada or all around the world. And that's, I think, the importance of Huevo Cartoon, that I liked working for them because of that particular thing. It was a really cool thing to do. And again, all the people that you meet. And this just, I'm not gonna talk about each film. I just wanted to talk about those in particular. And then these are the rest of them. And Hiko's journey was the first time that I was a storyboard supervisor. And Hiko's journey, what was challenging about it, it was like also cutout animation, but it was the first time that I had to deal with the leading the other storyboard artists, and being the one that says to the director, hey, so this is what you have. What do you think? So this is what we did this week. Does it work? What do you think? And the one-on-one with the director and going back and transmitting the feedback to the people. I don't know, it was a very interesting way of now being in charge of that part, right? So yeah, it's been a while. It's been around 10 years of doing storyboard. So many different lessons, lots of drawings, lots of, even though it's for yesterday, the producer wants it for yesterday, you still have to redo it 2 times because it didn't work. Okay, we'll figure it out. And team effort, we do it. Around this time, we make MUMA, Mujeres en el Mundo de la Animación, which is a WIA, but for Latin women. It came because of that idea that I was telling you, that why are nobody knows these Mexican Latin artists that are working on these products, because it's not only Mexican, it's from all Latin America, that have such talent. And why are we not showcasing, look, this is the art of this person, the art of this person, of this film, blah, 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 you know? And so it was accidental, but it ended up being, let's showcase women, because we found out that women are just not the ones that raise their hand when somebody at the studio says, we have a new film coming up. Who can direct it? It's always a guy. In all these 16, 17 years of Mexican animation history, many women director in short film, but not in a feature film. And so we started seeing why is that? And the only thing that came across was the fact that they were not raising the hand, that they were not saying, hey, yeah, I've done around 10 films, but I still don't feel ready. That's what they actually told us, you know? And so we realized it was a problem. So we started doing all these talks about, come on, girls, we can do it. Let's push forward. Let's showcase all these women doing all these different cool things. And so that maybe the younger generations, which were the ones that we saw the most shy and that they didn't feel that they could do it, to push forward and do it and take that step. But I never expected that they finally will get here to me directing a film in Photosynthesis Media. Honestly, I wasn't talking about myself, and not because I don't think that I could do it. Actually, that was never the fact that I cannot do it. It was just that, honestly, I felt a bit old. I was always talking to younger generations, you know, with fresh voices. I honestly, after all these years of all these films, I was like, we're telling the same story over and over, but okay, it's work. I get hungry, you know, I need a job, so let whatever, I do it, and I love doing it. I'm not gonna lie, it's not just for food, but yeah. So in the end, they call me. You want to direct the film that we're doing? In comes Photosynthesis Media. Photosynthesis Media is a studio that this is their slogan. We work to become, not to acquire. What basically is that they do films, and many of the profits from the films go to different civil organizations. They have done different films. Their stories are maybe not quite commercial, as we say, or, you know, like on a selling point. These are the two main guys on Photosynthesis. They are the founder is Miguel Uriegas on the right, and on the left is Genaro. He's more like the producer. And Genaro is the one that contacted me because Genaro had worked before in Anima Studios. I never worked with him, but he asked people, this is what he does. He never hires someone just like, hey, I like you, come join us. No, he always asks for people to tell him, who do you think could do this? And then what this does warm my heart, my cold, cold heart, is the fact that many, many people said my name. And they said, they wanted a woman director because they actually did see this problem that there were no female animated feature directors. And so they thought, we can do it. No problem. We like that type of stuff. And so that's when they call me. And so we are doing My Friend the Sun because of that. In a nutshell, you guys, I think that it's getting to direct this film has been a process of failures, but successes also, making friends, helping each other in each production that you get into as much as you can. You're not Jesus, just as much as you can. It's appreciated. And also encouraging others to be the best of themselves, to try and be a director and showcase their talents, their work. Uh, because really that's what we are, animation. We are a community. We are a small, small community. Even if the US, the Europeans, the Latin, it's a small community, you guys. In the end, somebody knows somebody. I think you know this. You have this group of Viva La Animación. You know this. So and we are all like similar love for movies, animation, characters, stories, you name it. So it has been that type of journey. And really right now in photosynthesis, it is my 4th year right now doing this film. You would think that it's gonna look, because of 4 years, oh, then it's gonna look like a Pixar film. Oh, I wish. No. What happened is that in the process of making this film, our executive producers have taken chances on other studios from Latin America to make animation, to make the cleanup. And sadly, it just hasn't been able to get accomplished. So that's why it has been like stop production, start again, stop production, start again. So that's why it has taken so long. So I did try my best with the story, because it's the thing that I care the most. But once you are in the director chair, you realize it's not so easy. Like when I was a storyboard artist, just one of the crew, it was, oh, the director, so crazy. He doesn't know what he's asking for. Now I know. you know Now I know it's kind of hard, it's kind of painful. Some decisions are yours and some are wrong. And you're gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to be like, yes, I said that. I see that's a mistake now, but let's keep going. There's no way to go back, especially with our budgets. you know? But I will say that in photosynthesis, they put a lot of effort in the fact that the animation it's more full animation. No cutout. There is still some cutout, costs again, whatever. But it's still, My Friend the Sun is going to be looking really amazing. And I have to say that I am very proud of everybody. There have been times when I want to die. It's so extreme. But no, really, really angry with the executive producers, angry with myself, angry with certain animators. Don't tell anyone. But yes, sometimes it's like really, but then other times they're like, this person that I was so angry with, that this amazing thing. I misjudge him completely, or her. It's just like that. It's it's a bunch of bumps. But the end result, I think it's gonna be wonderful. And another thing that makes me very, very proud is the fact that photosynthesis is gonna continue on the women on directing roles of feature films. These two ladies, this is Sara Paramo and Fer Lozada. They have both been my animation directors, and they're gonna be directing their own feature films the next couple of years. The next films from Photosynthesis are gonna be directed by each of these ladies. So honestly, that's like, for me, all right, job well done, you know? But there's also there's still job to do. What am I saying? I still have a lot of work to do, but and that's kind of it for the presentation. I wanted to see how are we in time, because I would like to show you guys some the teaser for Mi Amigo El Sol, my friend the sun, if we have time, and then questions. Is that okay, Adela?
Yeah, I think we could see the teaser, sure.
Okay, then let me just a second. A ver, I have to do this. Can you hear me on this microphone?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Because I don't have speakers, and I'm gonna play the teaser. Let me put it on the full. Here.
¿Cómo lo debiste? Tu examen. Lo más importante para mí es... Diego y Xochitl se llevan increíble. Primero está la escuela.
¿La escuela? La escuela sepa. Yo lo que quiero es pintar.
Pero sus metas son muy diferentes. Cuando luchas por tus sueños, tienes que estar dispuesta a todo. Encuentra tu destino.
¡Wow! ¿Tú conoces este lugar?
¿Qué aguantes? ¿Qué está pasando? Soy Claro, mucho gusto. ¿Claro? ¿Si estás buscando tu hijo? ¿La esfera de Tolar? Es el mejor lugar para empezar. Bueno, princesa, tenemos muchas escaleras por subir, así que permítame contarle la historia de los 5 soles. El quinto sol. Mi querido Tona, ya está cansado. Y pronto tenemos que escoger al sexto sol. ¿Quinto sol? O sea, el quinto sol de la leyenda. No es leyenda, no. Es historia. Mi amigo el sol. Próximamente.
Próximamente, in next year, it has to be. No more.
Gosh,
No
that's
more. I can't take it, you guys. Thank you. So yeah, that is my friend the sun. And that's it. Thank you, everybody,
Oh
for
my gosh. Alejandra, I just want to say you were saying like the animation maybe wasn't like top whatever quality or something, but it looks so good. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know I'm too critical. I'm too yeah. No, it's really good. No, and the love and the effort that everybody has put on their scenes and everything, even though they're getting tired, and it's understandable, you guys. It's understandable, but it's looking really amazing. No, and this is an old teaser. It's gonna look even better. But thank you.
Carla in the audience says nada que envidiar a las producciones gringas, and just to translate, nothing to be jealous of, to envy like the American the American productions. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Korean hearts.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. That's very sweet of you.
Yeah, everyone loves it in the comments, just letting you know the character designs, that it's so colorful, that they can't wait to see it. It's incredible. Que belleza. Just want to read that to you, Alejandra. But yeah, I think we can move on to the Q&A portion. So I do have some questions from people who couldn't make it that they emailed over to me. But does anyone here have any questions they'd like to ask Alejandra? And yeah. feel free to raise your hand or type it into the chat. Any questions? If not, I'll ask one from someone who couldn't make it. Mario Gutierrez asked, which has been one of the most important challenges of your career?
I think the híjole, a big challenge. Well, this film has been because, as I mentioned, I have very short temper. I don't come across maybe as that, but especially in the beginning, because perhaps because I wanted to be so perfect, because I want each drawing to be like, you know, animation is each drawing. We get to fix that, you know, that we don't get to fix in live action. So I'm always like, if there's a tangent or if there's a facial expression, and I realizing that I just can't. It's a big film. I'm not gonna be able to change every single little detail. So I think this has been the challenge.
Well, thank you. Isabella, saying it like Spanish, said, I'm an aspiring storyboard artist who is going to graduate soon. How did you go about getting a job in the industry as a board artist?
Yeah. So for example, what I realize is that they don't really hand it out so easily. I don't know if that's well expressed. What I'm trying to say is that they always ask, they're always looking for storyboard artists. And the bad thing is that they tend to go to the same 6 people. And it's like, why? There's so many storyboard artists out there that are trying to get their foot on the door, you know, as they say. And the thing is, what I only see, I think if you get into, I'm talking about my experience, for example, entering to anime studios. They didn't give me, I wanted to be a storyboard artist right ahead, but, and the supervisor storyboard artist was like, yes, we need help. But then they were like, no. First, have her be part of the character design team. And then we'll see if she can do, I cleaned up the storyboard, the thumbnails from my supervisor. So it wasn't like the first job, you know, it was hard getting the job, the storyboard artist job, really. So if you get, I think, character design, you know, starting through that, I see in the US they have storyboard revisionist. That's something that we don't have over here. Again, over here, the problem that I was telling you guys about is that they want key poses. Storyboard artists are not supposed to do key poses. They're supposed to fix the story, translate the script into images. So don't discourage. You apply for the storyboard position, but if they don't want to give it to you yet, try character design or character development. That's the different faces, the hand gestures, all that stuff that you need, the character lineup, all the stuff that productions need. Maybe even prop design, you know, maybe even background design. In storyboard, we need to know how to draw perspective. So show a lot of perspective drawing, show a lot of key story moments, you know, like I'm thinking Norman Rockwell. All his paintings are stories, you know, in just one image. And so put that in your portfolio, and don't discourage if they don't give you the first time the storyboard position.
And if I could add to Alejandra's thing, because right now I'm back in school, and now I've been talking to the administration about summer internships and stuff like that. And it's like, I want to be more in development, but I have no experience in that. I have most of my experience in cleanup animation, 2D animation, rough animation. And so like, I know I won't get like that first job right off the bat of like being in development, but I kind of just have to work into the studio environment and at least learn how it is first before I can get to that. It's like everything, I feel like things are like a stepping stone. Sometimes you won't get like the dream job sometimes right off the bat. That's just kind of how I've seen it. I have a question from Dolly, and then I'll get to yours, Perry. From Dolly, it's in Spanish and I'll translate. ¿Cómo mantienes el focus y la esencia / mensaje de la obra dirigida en momentos difíciles de la producción? She's asking basically, how do you maintain the focus and the essence of the message of the script during difficult moments of production? ¿Cómo te mantienes motivado durante el trayecto? How do you keep like your motivation during this? ¿Qué artistas de storyboard y obras recomiendas seguir y analizar? Which storyboard artists do you recommend to follow and analyze? Siempre es un placer escucharte. It's always a pleasure to hear from you.
Aw, thank you. Okay, so to
I know
keep
that was like 3 questions, so if you want me to tell you the first one again, it's
sí.
basically, how do you maintain your focus and the essence of the message in the script during difficult moments?
Okay, so for example, in My Friend the Sun, I always try to look, or in any film, I always try to look like what is the universal thing that the script is trying to say. In My Friend the Sun, for example, oh my gosh, Mike Uriegas, he's the main script writer, and he likes to add so much stuff because he's such a positive guy, and he's like, oh, and then we're talking about Aztec gods, and then we're having the father, and then we're having she paints. So much stuff going on. There's always gonna be a lot of stuff going up. So you have to figure out what's the most important, the heart of the whole thing. And it was the father-daughter relationship. That was like the key thing from all of this stuff that is going on. And I think in my case, I was able to think my relationship with my dad, how that was. He always encouraged me. I guess I applied it a lot personally in this film. But it's even like Everything Everywhere All at Once, that film. What is it about? It's the mother-daughter relationship. You have the husband, you have the father, you have the universe, the sausage fingers, you have so much, but what is the heart of it all? The relationship of the daughter and the mother. And in a way, that kind of speaks to us universally. So I think that as long as you have that in mind, then everything else, it's the sprinkles, the whatevers, the balloons, I don't know, whatever you decorate the stuff with. So, and it was very important to me. And then another thing that this film has is it's too personal, because it's talking about dioses mexicanos, the Mexican gods. And I remember since I was a kid they took us to the Museo de Antropología y Historia here in Mexico City. And they speak of Tlaloc, they speak of Quetzalcoatl, they speak of Tezcatlipoca, they speak of all this stuff that I was like, we have so much material for a film. When is Disney gonna look at our deities and our, Many years later, Jorge Gutiérrez comes and does Maya y los Tres, and And there's a lot of these Latin things finally popping out and finally that we can relate to. And I think that's very inspiring. That to me was also super important. So I could not, it's a thing of that I really like. And drawing a lot different ideas. Hey, what if my main character's name is Xochitl? What if Xochitl was faced with this situation and drawing her in that situation? For me, it's that. I like to make these characters, and the idea of making them come to life, that makes me move forward, even if I am very tired or if I am very angry at things from everything or anything. That, yeah, the end.
Would you say that's your motivation as well during projects?
Yeah, my motivation is always try to tell a good story. That is, it's a good motivation as any, and a very hard one. That alone will keep you busy and motivated. So yeah, that's mine.
And Dolly's third question was about any storyboard artists that we should follow and analyze.
Gustavo Cosillo. Some of you have heard of him. If not,
How do you
just
spell that? Yeah.
a ver, aquí I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah.
Gustavo Cosillo. He was my supervisor in Here Comes the Grump. And he is, when Jorge Gutierrez discovered him, he's like never gonna let him go, you know, and because he's es el goat. What was goat? Yeah, good of everything. I don't know what
The
goat
greatest
is.
of all time. Greatest of all time.
That, yes, exacto. Es una cabra, el pinche Gus. Yeah, he's cool. So I'm gonna think Gus Cosillo, and maybe it's not a storyboard artist per se, but look at the work of Joanna Quinn. I know. She's more of an animator, but she did An Affair of the Arts. Sure, no problem. Thank you. Yeah, Affair of the Arts, Joanna Quinn. Look her up. That one is Joanna Quinn. Exacto. You know, Adela. I mean, she's telling a story, and I know she does her whole thing. It's such a personal work and so loose. Love it. Check her work.
Thank you. And we have a question from Perry, one of our good friends and who's helped me out a lot in the past with animation stuff. For the movie you are currently directing, did you get to work on a locked script? And how is the process as a director breaking down a script before giving out assignments?
Oh, yeah. So the script was that was divided from the producers, our line producers. They did that for me. So I didn't really have to do that part, but okay, what you were saying about how much did I got into the script writing, changing, tweaking, this and that, quite a lot, really. It was, and that's something that doesn't happen that often. But el Mike Uriegas, which is the founder of Photosynthesis, they are always each director that comes to one of their films, they are like, go, you let us know what works, what needs to be changed. We will, we will try and fix it. Both sides should be happy. That's because it's executive producer with me, and so both sides should be happy. So I was able to say, no, in the beginning, for example, in My Friend the Sun, I was like, no, I hated the main girl. She was just this spoiled brat. I just want to paint and I don't care about you, Dad. No. No, as a Mexican daughter, no, por Dios, no. I mean, my mother didn't raise me like that. I just cannot, you know. It's like I was telling my friend the other day, and this is a personal opinion. In the movie Brave, you know Merida and her mom, right? You know Merida transforms her mother into a bear. I'm like, is what the... You know what? As punishment, your mother stays as a bear. How's that? What are you gonna cry? But you made it. You made your bed and now you lie on it. That's the expression, no? So yeah, I was like, no, this girl needs to change. You know, it needs to be better. The relationship father-daughter, not everything. I don't know. I try to make that change because before she was like, my dream, my dream. Yeah, girl, but what? How are you gonna eat? Painting? That's what you're gonna eat? No, it doesn't work like that. So, you know, trying to incorporate that into the script was a bit of a challenge, but we did it. And so yeah, I think it was good. Some things I hope they come across as I think they are. But yeah, so it was pretty good. Working with photosynthesis on that aspect was good.
I think, did you answer the question of, did the director break down the script before giving out assignments? Yeah.
No, the production
Oh, so it was
did it for me. So yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
It kind
thank
of
you.
changed. There were some scenes that this goes, this stays, we add this, you know, so it was very back and forward.
Thank you. We have a question from Angela. She said, I'm curious about the animation industry in Latin America and why do people outside of Latin America do not know that it exists? Are there not that many studios in Latin America making films that are distributed worldwide? Is it a finance issue or are there other reasons? Your work and the work of your colleagues is very cool and deserves to be seen by more people.
Thank you, Angela, for those words. I agree. I had the exact same thing when I came here and I realized, wow, there's so much work being made. I'm not sure what is. I think it is like the reason that you said, like financial issue. I think it's a lot of that. I think it's a lot of the distribution. Let's put it this way. A film gets from Anima Studios, gets released this year alongside Moana 2, you know? So, and if that happens here in Mexico, they get like forgotten. Imagine elsewhere in the world, even more so. I think it has to be a gradual change. Like there's even like this discussion that some of us have that we don't even have a real industry here in Mexico, because in order to have an industry of animation, you needed to be able to get money from how do you say, from las ventas en taquilla, from selling it in the cinemas, you know, that people go, people pay tickets and that shows and you get a profit from that. It doesn't happen. It's weird. I think studios mainly get profits if they put it on Netflix or this Disney Plus or whatever, and even that I'm not sure how much is it. And then it's the way they distribute the money that they get from the government. You know, they do have to like be like, okay, we need to exist and we need to keep going, so we're gonna keep some. And so it's like a you how do you say, you work for it and you finish it and you keep working because you need to make more to keep existing, but you're finishing it. So I think it's not quite sustainable, and that's the problem so far. Guillermo del Toro, save us. I don't know how.
Oh my God. And I'll just add, Angela, because I actually did my LLM thesis on comparing the Chinese and Latin American animation industries and just their problems. And They actually had very similar issues. And I think one of the things, and that's how I met Perry. I interviewed him as one of like the people. I was asking him like, hey Perry, I was asking him like, what are the problems in Mexico? Like I was doing all that stuff. But I do think a lot of it is like a pipeline issue. It's very like, I wouldn't say disorganized, but yeah, there's like that problem of like, it's not sustainable. Like everything's just kind of done like on the go and quickly. And like, I think with that, it's like when the movie finishes, like, what's next? I don't know. It's like this kind of tough feeling. And a lot of it is dependent, a lot of their funding is dependent on the government and if they win. And sometimes during the convocatorias, I think is what the contest, they'll give the money to a production, but then the production won't have everything really figured out yet. So they don't really do it well, and it kind of just dies on arrival or something. And that's kind of also a problem. Not a lot of animation schools in general, although I feel like that's changing. And Dolly, who is here, is part of a studio called Maneki Studios in Peru, and she's doing a lot of stuff, and they're doing courses and that I've taken with them. And so there are things happening, but I think they're just like funding, just trying to survive each production sort of issue, and then the problem of getting it distributed, like who's interested in this stuff. I don't know, there's just so much like that. But it's inspirational. Like I have a teacher at Gobelin, and she's Peruvian, and she actually is working with a Peruvian studio to do a film called Apu Studio. I don't know if you know it, Ale, but I hope I can help her win the animation part of that. But they're doing it about these like colonial women, super cool story. But so there are like really interesting things happening. I think it's just kind of harder to get it out there. I don't like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I hope that answers your question, Angela. She's typing. Thank you so much, Ale. Yeah, it's like a lot of stuff happening, but I feel like it's getting better, Alejandra. Like it's,
Yeah, I think we need more competition amongst ourselves, in the sense that, for example, Huevo Cartoon took it, it was really bad. The pandemic for Huevo Cartoon was really bad, for example. And Anima kept, well, for many studios, not just Huevo Cartoon. But if you think about it, like main big studios, I really can only think of Anima and Huevo Cartoon. Photosynthesis was more, even Photosynthesis doesn't consider themselves as big studio. They consider, they even told me in the beginning, we are an independent studio. We know that you work in Anima and Huevo Cartoon. It's not the same. We are tinier. And I'm like, but you're doing feature films and you actually finish them. That's something that not many people get to do. Many people apply for those government contests, those government money, and they don't finish their films. So they always tend to go to Anima, Huevo, to the same people. And we need more studios, but it's very, there's also now Mighty Animation. But MIT is more of a services type of studio. And I think that's why they keep surviving. They do things for Disney, for, I don't know, many things. But yeah, we need more competition. We need to make more feature films. But it's hard. Yeah, I don't know.
One of my dreams is to direct a feature film with a Peruvian studio that's like animated. I don't know, it's like I'm bringing the industry.
Yeah, because
Oh,
they have talent over there. They have talent. It's just organization, and it's just, híjole, I don't know.
yeah, it's something. Perry said you also have Cinema Fantasma.
Ah, it's the best. Tienes toda la razón, pero no mames. Cinema Fantasma, I am a fan. Look them up. They are the guys. They're gonna be the first feature film made in stop motion, made entirely in Mexico. because again, many short films, with really talented people, but Cinema Fantasma is gonna be the first feature. And I love the way those guys tell story. And I've been to their studio. No. The beautiful, it's like a tennis court that they made into a studio. So they build the house of the main characters and you have different sets because it's stop motion. It's really cool. Yeah, I'm a fan of Cinema Fantasma. You have completa razón.
Angela said, I wonder too if doing co-productions with other studios would help. I remember in the 80s, I watched a lot of cartoons that were Japanese/French co-productions, or how in Europe they'll make a feature and have multiple studios working on it in order to secure funding.
Yes,
Comments,
but
yeah.
get them to work together. Ugh, no.
Yeah, it's hard.
They don't see eye to eye, and the egos, or maybe not egos, but financial agreement also. It's a whole thing. But I agree with you. That will be ideal. Like, for example, in photosynthesis, we tried that with my friend the Sun. We tried doing co-production with Chile, with a studio in Chile and with a studio in Brazil. And sadly, it didn't work because today we were discussing that they have talented people, but not enough. So in order to complete the whole pipeline in the time that we need it done, they just can't. And at first they say, yes, because they want to do the co-production. But in the end, it's like, no, dude, you have to finish till here. And we're after them each day. Our line producer is every day like, hey, so you have to do this. Do you have it? No response. 2 days later, we have one scene. Well, you need to give us like 10. So what happened? It's a bit of, yeah, it's hard.
Oh my gosh, and I'll add, because I'm in France, and France does a lot of co-productions with different countries. Like, I feel like that's one of their things, but they do a lot with Peru in particular, and I don't know of other countries, but yeah, it does get kind of complicated with the financial portion because each country has its own like certain crew members need to be part of like their country and others no, or how many minutes is done. Like, oh my God, there are like so many things each one. I don't think it's impossible though, and France has helped out Peru a lot and has given scholarships to go to Gobelin for Peruvian students and things like that. And so there's definitely like relationships. I just know most about France right now, but there's definitely it's really encouraging to see a lot of co-productions happening between two totally different continents. Like, I don't really see the United States doing that with anyone from Latin America. It's mainly like European, I would say, studios that are like co-producing it. It's really awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I think we had a question also from Samara. What other art programs have you used for making your storyboards? What programs would you recommend for a beginner animator/storyboarder?
Okay. Well, there's one that's free that is actually called Storyboarder, like that. I tried it a while ago, and it's pretty, yeah, it works very well. If not, the way that I did it back in school was Photoshop, but then, and now in Photoshop, you get to actually do, I think you get to put a timeline and all that stuff. When I was in school, I couldn't do that. It was always, okay, back to Premiere, and now you have to put the drawings and blah, blah, blah. And I learned to use Premiere because of that. But yeah, you can use Photoshop, or even now, you know what I love? I love Procreate. I really love all the brushes that I can get in Procreate. So there's really no limit. But yeah, it's all about making the animatic and getting the different time changes or squash and stretch or whatever you want to add even in your storyboard. I would say in Photoshop or the Procreate Animate. I haven't tried that one. was it Procreate Dreams? I haven't tried that one, but maybe that one could be a good option.
Oops.
Panel Forge is free. Oh, I don't know Panel
I don't know.
Forge. Cool. Blender. I haven't used Blender, and everybody says that it's pretty cool.
It is. I have it, but I haven't used it yet.
Yeah.
And we had a question from Mariana. I don't know if they're here, but they put Alice advice looking for a job when you're senior. I'm not sure if they mean like older or like higher position. I'm not sure, but if you can speak to something like that.
Oh, but I didn't quite got it. Do you mean?
Maybe I think maybe they're asking like when you're a senior, not a
Oh.
senior, but like when you're older, maybe.
I am a senior.
No, you're not. Like
Not so much as other colleagues of mine who are really old. I'm young.
yeah, I think maybe that's what they mean.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. No, honestly, look, I remember when I went, there was a talk of this lady producer in How to Train Your Dragon, some panel of some sort, and I remember asking her precisely that. Are they gonna hire me? But I am too old. They're probably not gonna hire me, right? And she said, what? No, that has nothing to do with what we look for. We look for, what is it you want to do? Storyboard. Okay. Tell a good story. Make your own story. Send the portfolio. If it's a good story and it catches us, that works. So I really don't think, if anything, age is way, it plays on your favor because precisely you are not the person that's gonna get to, how can I say this? Like, I've worked with many different people, right? And I find that sometimes the younger people are the ones that are more like, oh, so keen into making their best, into too nervous because it's their first time, or because they are meeting someone that they admire, or because it's their first time working in the industry. They get so nervous. And us as senior or a bit more like, we've been there, it's like, we get another perspective, I think, in everything, in telling the story, in mistakes that we've seen in many other films. That's another thing. I never thought I would be in the position that now I am talking about some reference of some movie and they don't understand me. And it's like, oh, I'm there now. I am that person now. And you know something? You now know all the references and even the new ones, because you can talk about Owl House or whatever it's out there. You've heard of it. I have to ask sometimes. I don't know everything, but at least I know they did that episode and it's on reference of this film, of this or that, and they did it better in this other film that they reference it to, because and you have all that library in your head. At least that's the way I see it. I like working precisely with people who are older. I like working with everybody, but people who are older are gonna have more references, more library, more history that they can incorporate. I would say though, there are some seniors who are so, my way is the only way and it's the right way and everybody else is dumb. That I don't like. That doesn't work. Just don't be that person. That's it. It doesn't matter your age. Just don't be the person that knows it all and that thinks that, oh, in my time, cartoons were better. Chill. There's something new that's really cool because of this, and that. So I don't know. Don't think of your age as a limitation, I would say.
Thanks, Alejandra. I think we just got a couple more from Perry. Excited Perry. What are some key qualities you look for when building a team for a project? I'll say
Oh.
that's the first one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, qualities. Well, open to critique, open for solutions. Not, they have this saying that not very light skin, that everything you say to them, oh, you know, doesn't work. Oh, why my idea doesn't work? Oh, I'm not good enough. No, relax. That's not what I meant. You know, just be open for that, for critique, good and bad, because in the end, we're all aiming for the project to be better. That's the main one, really. I think that, and looking for solutions, that's always needed. Yeah.
I think this might be our last question. If anyone has these questions, this is the call. I didn't know the revenue from cinemas in Mexico don't go to production companies. This includes foreign productions.
The revenues from the cinemas in Mexico don't go to the production companies.
This,
includes,
sorry, this is
no.
following up about what you were saying about like they don't make their revenue out of the taquillas.
Sí, no, the profit is minúscula, little. But yeah, this is what, but you know why? Again, because people don't really go see our films.
Yeah, no, it's like because I was like, Inside Out just made $100 million in Mexico, which is crazy. I didn't know we had that much money for a movie. But I'm like, if we can get like 10% of that, we could actually start to have an industry here. So I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah, I know. But every studio head that I've talked to, every person that I worked with, they're like, no, we make not money from the movie theater. I don't know what to say. Why that is. Again, yeah, Mexico, I think we are the main, I don't know, this I heard. I haven't read the statistics or anything. But I think we are the main consumers of Disney, Marvel, all the stuff that is like really fantasy popular. I think Mexico, we are the number one. Yes, take my money. And our own Mexican cinema, it doesn't. Even if not only animated features, what's it called? Human live action. Live action don't make money either. So it's weird. Yeah.
Interesting. Gosh. I think those are all the questions we have. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And for those who couldn't make it, we'll be able to send the recording out pretty soon in the next few days. But yeah, thank you so much, Alejandra. Thank you, Angela, Perry, Alex, Nikki, and everyone from the Viva La Animación team who was able to come, and Nikki for taking notes. We'll also be sending notes out for anyone who couldn't make it as well. And yeah, thank you all again.